Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. This is the Man vs. Mood podcast, episode number 9. I am your host, Will, joined, as always, I've got the whole crew in front of me today. To my left, I've got
Gary. Hello, everybody.
Gary in the house. How we doing?
Great.
Who are you?
This is Mike.
Mike in the house, and to my right.
That was loud.
Yeah. Finally, we heard him, right?
Yeah.
I like it.
Not quite no more.
Oh, no, you'll probably hit us with the quiet one next time. And last, but certainly not least,
Jen's in the house.
Jen is
We're
in
a
the
little out
house.
of order this time, but
What's
No,
that?
I'm usually
Gary
like
is still to his...
Yes.
Yeah, still to his left, yeah.
I keep Gary Gary in the corner because I've got his gain cranked up so much that I don't want to catch feedback from everyone. That's just a little technical thing. It has nothing to do with Gary and the fact that he smells a little.
It's fine with me.
I do like that hat. That's pretty fire.
I wouldn't be wearing it right now, though.
Go
Oh.
Seahawks. I'm a Seahawk fan.
I
through
am
and
too,
through.
but come on.
You gotta-
3-8. 3-8.
Hey, it is. I'm a Oregon State Beaver fan.
That's
so
like a 49er record.
Wow.
I mean,
Ooh.
I don't think you can say that right now because the Niners are
I know.
doing pretty darn well.
I know.
and they're
Hey,
starting
but
to-
we beat them.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can
did.
still say we've owned that.
Yeah.
okay,
Well,
I'm seeing what this is shaping out into. I
yeah,
did not
no,
realize
we're
which
not going to go
fandom we-
into
Okay.
the Seahawk wormhole that could be. Today we're going to talk about an interesting topic that has affected all of us, which is weight loss. But before that, because there's a lot to be thankful for there and a lot to not be thankful for, but we are always thankful for something. And so, Gary, I'll start with you. What are you thankful for today?
What I'm thankful for, honestly, is that the college football season is almost over. And
What?
for me,
Huh?
for me, like I love our relationships and stuff, we have here. But I just found it so weird that every week the Ducks played the Huskies or the Beavers, you guys were out of town randomly. It was just so weird. What are the odds of that? So for
Hey,
me,
I had to go find a new coach for us.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
right?
for me, I am so thankful that the college football season is almost over because I want our relationships to be growing.
Not stuck in the mire of college football. Right? Yeah. I totally get that. That was a rough Saturday.
I loved it, actually.
You can say you guys got our coach fired, so
We helped you out there.
there you go.
You're going to get Sark back and go
hell
on
no, I
a
don't
drinking
want him
binge? Sorry, I didn't.
No.
We're not going to go into that. Mike, what are we thankful for?
I'm thankful for Christmas season, man. I love doing all the lights and putting the tree up, going to hunt for the tree.
I will say that I am very impressed with the smell of your tree.
Okay.
I have been.
I sprayed fresh
Are you
fragrance on it.
serious?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, that's kind of smart.
That's cheating.
Exactly. You
That's
don't
fart
cheat
spray?
with Christmas.
That's fart spray
Yeah,
on
right.
that tree.
Yeah, it's potpourri.
Essential
Potpourri.
oils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essential oils.
Oh, shit. Here we go. Anyway, no.
Jen has a podcast she used to have on essential oils and beauty products.
Exactly. What
I mean,
was
I
the
do
name
like
of it?
these
Why don't we
essential
give a
oils.
shout out to your old podcast
Oh,
because it's still out there, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
know
called-
it is.
Yeah, it's called Rebel Heart Radio, and we're not active. We don't have any new episodes, and we probably won't be, but there's a decent amount of episodes to pile through,
There
and they're
are.
all fun to listen to and still relevant, honestly. You guys get to know me on a different level on that show.
Well,
It's just me and another
You, used to
podcast
have
co-host.
you had a great voice on there, but now we get to see your great face here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your flannel collection.
What a guy.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
I wore a
I'm-
second one.
I know. Oh,
we
you
didn't
only
get
have
a memo
two?
again.
I know. I just realized I'm the only one. What?
I actually
I was left out the first time.
No, the reason I didn't wear it is too dang warm for it. So
Next time
Oh,
I'll wear
yeah.
my picnic tablecloth.
Your
Yeah.
picnic table.
No, that's speaking of weight loss. That's what they would. My dad used to say I'd have to go to Omar the tent maker, or if I wore a flannel, then I was wearing a picnic table.
Oh,
Jen, what are you
nice
thankful
thing.
for?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
it's actually not too far from yours. I love the Christmas season. Like, I'll probably have to take pictures and show you guys. We really need to like get on some sort of thing that's not a texting thread so I can like show you a video.
Yeah, that's
like-
why I'm setting. I've gone back and forth between Slack and I have all the Google products,
Yeah.
and I actually like the Slack
I mean, Telegram?
interface.
Do you guys
I
like
have
Telegram?
never used. What about WhatsApp? Have you ever used?
Yeah. So I used
Let's
to have
finish with
Amazon
your
products,
thankful, and then we'll.
and I
then-
used WhatsApp too much, and it's like triggering now. Like,
Oh, okay.
Too many Chinese
I'm fine with
people
Telegram.
in the
I've
middle
never
of the
used
night.
it. As long as it doesn't make me like try to take over the country, then I'll be happy to use it. But
Okay. I just like Telegram because the content you can send is so clear. Like
okay.
it's just like texting, but I don't have like bad quality when I'm sending media to people, and so I like it for that reason. But finished all my Christmas decorations.
Oh, you're done.
It's a long.
I'm done too.
It's a long haul. Like, you guys,
No Christmas doilies.
if it doesn't look like Hallmark, it's not worth it. Okay.
Wow,
Like,
you are
Wow.
committed.
no, it's probably, my husband's so annoyed. Like, so much of our storage in the garage is Christmas. He's just
Oh.
like, okay,
Are you like
have
Cindy
a problem.
Lou Who or?
I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. He's like, you know, you have a problem when you can change your themes each year. And I was like, yeah, but I don't buy any new Christmas decorations.
Because we spent $40,000 that one year.
No, I get gifted a ton from my mom because she did it to me. Like, I'm her only daughter. We do it together all the time. Like, I don't. You'll see. I will. But I love it. I love having the lights on. I've got other friends that are into it, and we always talk about we're talking about doing decoration swaps because we get tired of stuff. This is what level we're at.
See, this is why I do enjoy having a female perspective on the show, because I
You're
think
like, what?
that I looked at the two of you,
Yeah.
and neither of us or any of us were like,
You're like,
"What the
what?
fuck does that mean?"
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
Who
that?
does decoration
Are you
swaps?
talking about like here's an ornament type of thing, like an
Kind of.
ornament
Or it's like
swap?
garlands. Like, if you're tired of your garlands, or if you have like tablecloths you want to
How many
swap
different
up. Or
garlands
Yeah,
can you
I'm like,
have?
they're all
oh,
green.
you guys. Oh
So it's
no.
like a secret Santa,
There's like
but with
fur
Christmas
and pine,
ornaments?
Pretty
and
much.
I mean, you
Fur?
guys.
You got like
Yeah.
dead animals hanging off your shit.
No, not that bad, but kind of.
Do you have like?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
You'll see what I mean.
Okay, so what is the theme this year?
Ski lodge.
Oh, alpine.
Yeah, ski lodge in most of my house, but we ended up using like gold and silver on my mom's tree, which is kind of like the main tree that we use. And so it's like the front of the house is gold and silver, but the part we actually hang out in is like ski lodge. So it's like
So like a chalet
rustic
type.
and yeah, it's like more like rustic.
Swiss.
Yeah, and it's like I don't do tinsel very often or really like sparkly shiny things. I kind of like things that look like they're handmade.
Huh.
Stuff like that.
I mean, I can make you something.
No,
I was like, are you lying to me?
a doily.
Probably won't want it on
No
your tree.
doilies. Yeah.
I've never heard of anything like that. That's pretty amazing. I thought people just like
Put a tree up and
put up like
Oh no.
Some lights.
Rudolph or
Let's put it this way. I had some friends over 2019.
yeah.
And I mean, it's like the last time you have friends over, right?
Yeah,
It's 2019.
Basically, yeah.
I had friends over in 2019 and they were like, oh, like they were looking around the room and they were just
Did
like,
you have a Santa
oh.
there for them to sit on to really make it? To
No,
bring
I
it
could
together?
not convince somebody to do that. But I mean, I have a handful of hand carved Santas and like
course
you
you
guys,
do.
it's a thing. And so it's like a multi-day adventure trying to get all the decorations out. So I'm glad I did it. Glad it's done.
Now you
Happy
get
it's here.
a fresh tree or a,
No, we do fake. We got allergies in my house, which is very frustrating for
Oh
me.
okay.
So
The
you need the
allergies.
spray, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I have candles. It's not
It's
the
not
same.
the same.
I know, it's totally not the same. I did it
I mean, when
before I had kids and stuff, but
when you get the tree, they bundle it and they wrap it all up
I
and
love that.
ready to go. They don't tell you about all the spiders or the stuff that's hiding inside when you get
Yeah,
your
for
tree.
real. For real. No,
So
I was
that's-
kind of lucky that my husband like prepared me for that. Like Sky was just like, okay, it has to sit outside and we're going to spray it and we're going to shake it. And we're going to do all things because I didn't grow up with real trees because my mom was allergic to trees. So this was like a whole new universe for me of like picking out the tree and chopping
Oh,
it and
yeah.
tying it to the top of the car. And like, it's like a whole thing. And then letting it fall open after, like, I mean, it's a ritual. I miss it though. I loved doing that.
Clark W. Griswold is my hero.
Yeah.
And so I have gone out into the woods and hacked them down, bought the $5 permit, but I typically go because nobles are what I'm shooting for. But I'm all about the real tree. But I
the
understand the allergy
experience.
aspect of it.
Yeah. I had to learn to live with it.
Yeah. I don't know. That's not very much fun.
No, I
Um,
agree.
Yeah. What am I thankful for? I'm thankful for Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving was an absolute blast.
How's your turkey?
Both turkeys were phenomenal. The smoked turkey was very good, and the turkey in the oven was super good. Didn't get too full.
Two turkeys? That's amazing.
I
Oh,
noticed you showed up with no food.
Because
It's
I have
gone.
2 boys, and it was gone on Sunday.
I was gonna say 2 turkeys. How many people were you feeding?
8? No, 6.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and they weren't big turkeys. They were
Oh, okay.
12 and 13 pounds.
See,
so.
I did a 19-pound turkey,
it's too big.
but we spatchcocked it.
Oh,
I actually really, this was the first time we've ever done that.
oh yeah.
You did
That
what
I
was-
to
do
it?
spatchcock.
I know a lot of people say that.
No, I
Excuse me?
spatchcock almost all my chickens when I cook.
I'm sure
that
you
way.
do.
Oh.
What to
You
it?
cut the backbone. See,
Splayed open.
yeah, you cut the backbone out.
It
Okay.
sounds way
And,
dirtier than that,
yeah,
but
there's no.
And then you lay
I
it
mean,
flat on the
yep.
grill.
I mean, it still sounds kind of dirty. I'm not gonna.
yeah,
lie.
it
It
does.
kind of is. I mean, there's a lot of chicken going everywhere, but I have never done it to a turkey.
It's probably my favorite way to do the turkey now because we like white wine in the bottom, threw all the herbs underneath. So as it cooked and evaporated, it was like
Wow.
just right.
Here's a pro tip when you're cooking your turkey: do not stuff the cavity. Stuff the neck cavity. If you're going to put apples or whatever, that way it cooks more evenly. Because when you put anything into the actual cavity, it can cook not like completely in all those spots. So if you put it in the neck, or whatever, garlic, whatever you want to do it, that's the better place to do that because
Yeah,
the heat
okay.
goes
Yeah.
around the bird better.
And honestly,
you
we cooked it in an hour, a 19-pound turkey in an hour.
at what
bonkers.
temperature?
I want
1,000 degrees.
Yeah.
no, I think it was 450. It wasn't
torch.
super. It wasn't, but and you lower it way down in the
Yeah.
oven. But I was kind of surprised it didn't
Was it a
burn.
convection oven or?
Just
Really?
typical oven. I was really surprised, but it was really nice to free up the oven.
Yeah.
I also had a new oven installed on Tuesday. That was kind of stressful. I was like, please deliver on time and please install correctly and like,
Yeah, getting things delivered on time right now is kind of tough.
right. Well, I was without an oven for 6 weeks.
What the hell?
Yeah. What the hell? I know.
Oh, it's hard to get anything right now.
I know.
Boy, no, I totally understand that, but not having an oven. I mean, what
It
did
was
you have? Like a
awful.
little, what were the old easy bake ovens?
Kind of air fryer. That's basically what I had to do. I will
This guy was
never.
outside starting fires
Yeah,
with his
right.
hands.
I will never make pork
Like
meatballs in an air
MacGyver.
fryer ever again. That was a terrible experience.
What kind of meatballs?
Pork.
Really? What? they
Oh,
just
so
didn't
dry.
cook?
No,
Oh.
despite my best efforts, it was just like
You should have Michelle, my girlfriend, make some for you. There.
Oh,
I was like, I
will
might
bring
ask
you
her when she
my
does it, 'c'ause
meatballs. We
I
should
do-
have a
in the
meatball
oven?
off.
it's fine.
Wow.
She-
So
Yeah.
we're
I
gonna
don't
have
know
a
what she does
macaroni and
with hers.
cheese off and a meatball off. All right. All right.
Yeah. Well.
All right, all right.
Wow.
We talk about food a lot when we're
I
together.
know. Speaking of which, that's a good segue into our topic today, which is weight loss and the desire of two people and me, because I'm always going after that, to lose some weight. I will say that the two of you have, and I wanted to mention this to you, have picked probably the worst time of year to attempt this.
Oh,
but
no.
the flip side of that is I like it because it challenges you to not make it so bad when you really do start, which is at the first of the year. But what we want to kind of do is cover our origin stories, as Jen so succinctly put it, as the journey we've all had with weight loss. If you're a new listener to me, I have battled my weight my entire life. I, at one point, weighed over 400 pounds. Right now, I'm in about 200. And that was hell on earth. And because I had a very unhealthy relationship with food beginning when I was a very little kid. I was not allowed to have a lot of different things. Wasn't allowed to have sugar, soda, that kind of thing, which took off into me starting every one of my days, once I could drive, with a liter of strawberry soda and some kind of Hostess type thing.
Oh, that makes my stomach hurt thinking about it.
Exactly, right?
My
I mean,
whole-
you're just, that's like a double hander on just riding the porcelain lightning.
Double hander.
And and it is but for me, it got into one of those things where it's like, and we mentioned this earlier, I eat because I hate myself, and I hate myself because I eat.
Oh, cyclical. Just
It
like
is.
that,
It's like a ride you can't
that
get off
meme
of.
I sent
Yeah,
out.
fat bastard.
I eat because I'm unhappy, and I'm unhappy because I eat.
That's exactly right. But it's something that, for me, it did start when I was young. And even though I was very active and whatnot, and it got worse because I think I was 13 or 14, my dad decided to put me on a liquid diet when I went to go see him for the summer. I'd go up there for like 6 weeks, and it was literally the highlight of my year to go see him because I didn't get to see him. And so I go there, and he was selling some fucking product. And he put me on it, and I was going to lose 20 pounds over 6 weeks. And I'm like, my dad was a good cook. I'm like, really, this is what we're doing? We're going to diet. We're going to be on a liquid diet. I had to drink 2 of these the worst tasting. Sorry, I just blew my own ears out on that one. Worst
To emphasize,
tasting.
worst.
It was. I can still taste it to this day. I don't know what kind of nasty chemicals are in this thing, but it was horrendous, and I'll never forget that. I never will. But it wasn't until 2013, 14 that I really got serious and stopped the waffling and things like that. But each of us has our own unique journey, and that's why, everyone has a guru out there on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Yeah, I've got a plan for you. I'm going to get you in shape, and all you got to do is, it's the 8-minute workout once a week, and you're going to lose 50 pounds. Well, that's bullshit. We all know that. It's about making a commitment for a life, not a diet. I don't like the word diet. I don't like the word hate, but if I was going to hate a word, it would be diet, because that's not the mentality that you should take into it, because once you get to your goal, you lose that drive to maintain. At least I did, because I was on a diet. Gary, I'm going to start with you. You don't seem like somebody to me that really needs to take off a lot of weight. You said that you want to lose 20, 30 pounds, something like that. Is it something that you have dealt with your entire life, or is it just like, I kind of want to lose a few pounds just to even up or help my knees or something like that?
No, because for me, like, I was always an athlete. I was always playing like football or basketball. Like, I love playing tennis. So like,
No way. We should play tennis.
I love playing tennis.
What?
I love it.
Oh, I want to play tennis with you.
So like for me, like growing up, we were always playing sports and always being active and stuff like that. And like, I never really even like worried about like what I was eating. Like, me and my friends, like we'd go to Costco and like all like order one pizza each.
Yeah.
And just sit there and eat the entire pizza. Like,
Wait, how old are you?
At this time I was probably 21 or 19.
That's such a like teenage boy thing to do. Oh my
it was
word.
so amazing. Like,
I
going
can
to
taste it right now.
Oh,
it
just-
sounds so good.
But
give me a
whole
second,
Costco
moment of
pizza? Oh my
silence. But
Those are
just
huge.
I know. I was like, what?
But just going to Costco and just ordering like an entire pizza and just like being able to eat it was like the best thing ever. Like, when I was young. So like, I was still, slim. I was still, playing basketball all the time and working out and doing all these things. So like, I like never really thought about it. Like, it wasn't until, after college basketball, was over, and, a couple years go by, I got married, and one of my friends like came over and he was like, "Bro, you're fat." And I was like,
No, I'm not, man.
yeah, I was like,
That's my shirt.
Wow,
Got a flannel
right.
on.
Right, exactly. It's my double flannel shirt. But like I like went and like got on the scale like that day, and then I was like almost 300 pounds. And I've never been that heavy before.
What is your walking around weight normally, or back then?
I've like always been around like 240, 235 or something like
Okay,
that.
but let's be real. How tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
It's like you're not short.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that happened. Like, I lost probably 75 or 80 pounds, like over, I don't know, like a year or something like that, maybe. And then I was content. And then, I told myself that I'm okay, this is fine. And then like recently, I just fell off, I got lazy again. Like, I was just eating food that's not good for me. And then, I sent my friend a video message last week, just about something that I thought was funny, and he didn't respond to the video message at all, but he said, "When did you get so fat?" I was like, oh my, the pettiness came out of me.
Yeah,
and
I'm losing this tonight.
Exactly. I joined the gym that day, and that day I joined the gym, and I've been going, I've been running, I've been doing different things and stuff like that. And today, like, I made a delivery to Safeway, and I walked by the bakery, and I'm like, oh, I just want a maple bar, I want a donut, give me something. But then I bought those rice cake things. I mean,
They taste the same as a maple bar.
Yeah, totally.
that's what I was telling.
I can't even say that with a straight face.
I was like,
as
I
well
can't
you
even like.
shouldn't.
pull
Yeah,
that
so
one.
like that's what I was telling myself when I was wiping tears from my face, and I'm just like, this is not a maple bar. So that's where I'm at now.
That's and I didn't realize that you had gone that high. At 6'4", you can definitely carry 300 much better than like I could.
Yeah.
Mike is kind of in the same boat. You're 6'2", right?
6'3".
6'3".
Yeah, my highest, I got a 305.
305. How recently was that?
3 Christmases ago.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm far off, but I'm not there. I'm at 287 right now.
Yeah. And so you started last week where I mean, I can just see you in the gym like for 4 hours that day. I'm like, I'm losing this today.
I'm
But
pissed off.
Mike, you and I have talked about this, I mean, for several years now.
Yeah.
That it's something that is of concern to you, that it's important, and you have a goal weight that you would like to achieve. But I do know that you've also struggled with that, and you have done the yo-yo thing, which has probably been more, I guess I would say, more present for you, even in the time that I've known you, because I've only known you for 3.5 years, maybe 4 years, 3.5 years now. So it's something that you have really battled up and down, maybe month to month. Is that?
Oh, I'd say it's day to day.
So why don't you take us back to where your journey kind of started with the weight and things like that?
It's funny because I think we talked about in an earlier podcast about some of those wounds that we got when we were kids, you know, and when my stepdad, he was like really withholding all the food and stuff like that.
But you had it to a degree that was significantly.
That's where it started. I started because then I started buying my own food with my job.
But he would lock.
Oh yeah, he would lock the cereal away or anything like that so that I couldn't get into it. And so
I know,
as a
Jen's
teenage,
over
I'm
here
like,
like,
oh, you're losing my mind. I'm like,
as a teenage growing boy, you know, you're gonna eat a bunch, kind of eating a whole pizza. But
oh my gosh,
you know, those marshmallow matey bags, they're not small. So you know, it kind of started there, and then as my metabolism slowed, I got older, got married, and things like that. I think my high school weight, I was about in between. Well, when I was younger, I was 185. I was a stick, and then
I mean,
no, that's 225 right there.
Yeah, and you look very healthy, and we're looking at a picture of
My senior photo.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's my senior photo right there.
Well, I'm going to take a picture of that because
I've
I
been
think.
wanting to take a picture of that.
Well, now we have license.
well,
I was like, it's on your Instagram. Isn't
Everybody will see it now.
A picture is on your Instagram of you when you're younger.
Yeah, with my 3 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just doing a comparison
Yeah.
between us all, but that was when I was 15. So that's when I was 18, almost 19.
So you put on some weight between.
Oh yeah.
In your high school years.
Yeah.
Were you lifting weights or was it just weight?
Bowflex.
Oh.
Bowflex came out and they put them in our gym, and we would just sit there. I didn't like free weights because I popped my shoulder a couple times. I think I probably tore something by doing that all the way down, pop off your chest and go back up. So I got stronger off of Bowflex, and so I put on about 30 pounds of muscle between my sophomore and senior year.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay.
So that's something that Jen doesn't get the benefit of that we as guys have. We can usually pack on muscle much faster than
You
females,
guys, like,
but
I'm listening to you guys talk, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like between the indoctrination of how you guys were treated when you were younger and like how that can completely affect your mental health around food, like
you have no idea. I mean, I would like
I
drive by
idea,
Wendy's and I would just pull in and I think I've shared offline with you that lowest point I had was when the McDonald's lady saw me for the 3rd time in one day and said, "Boy, you must really love McDonald's." And I was like gun to my head right there.
and you're like, okay.
But it was still many years past that I actually got a hold of it. But you have children that
Yeah, I mean, my
throw
story
a
is
hole.
kind of similar in some ways, but so I'm the only girl in my family, and I hit 4th grade and I grew sideways.
Oh.
I was like I grew really tall after that. It was like my body was like, okay, we're just gonna pack on all the weight and then put it towards bones. Like, I mean, I don't know what my body was doing at the time. It was like puberty was really hard on my body. I went from silky straight hair to curly hair, and then I gained a bunch of weight. I mean, it was weird. The whole thing was weird.
I bet it was.
My mom
just
did
a
not know what to
treat.
do with me. She was like, took me to the hairstylist. I was like, teach her what to do, because like I was like, I don't know what to do. And like
cut
the
it off.
years between, I think 5th grade, I started to get bullied, which was really weird because it was people I'd known my whole life. But when I started to look different, you know, So 5th grade rolled around and I didn't know how to dress. I didn't fit in the little girl's clothing anymore. And my mom didn't know how to help me shop because I didn't fit in anything at that age.
Yep.
But my mom took a different yeah. And I think that there's a difference between boys gaining weight and girls gaining weight and how they get treated. Because, like, girls' bodies change. We start wearing bras and we start, like, we've been told from a young age your body's going to change. But we don't really know what that's going to be like. But for boys, it doesn't really get talked about. My son just went through this, actually. Like, he gained a little bit of weight during quarantine. And part of me was like, wow, that was kind of fortunate timing. And he lost it within 9 months and just grew like a weed. Yeah. Must be some family genetic thing, I don't know, but but it really formed me as a person during that time. And in a lot of ways, I'm especially now listening to you guys talk about your stories, realizing how different my experience was. My mom just didn't say anything.
Really?
I mean, I was eating like 2 adult-sized portions of food, like as a kid, because
at 4th and 5th grade, that type of age. Oh,
yeah, like I was eating more than my dad. Yeah.
And you had the appetite for that?
I did. I was just so flippin' hungry all the time. And my mom was like, okay, am I concerned? But nobody ever locked food away from me. Mm-hmm. But my mom was just like asking me questions about, you know, how do you know when you're full? Mm-hmm. What do you feel like when you eat this and versus when you eat that? Like, she was asking me questions that was making me have to think about me and my experience with food. And
kind of diagnosing yourself almost.
Yeah, it was very Socratic. It was a very Socratic way to learn about yourself, especially at that age. Because at that age, you ask a kid a question, like, I don't know. Like, I probably said, I don't know, all over the place. But so, and then by 8th grade, I just lost it all. Like, it was just, I mean, within like a 6-month period, my braces came off. I lost a bunch of weight. I was like, who is this person?
I'm popping off now. Yeah. Let's get on.
Basically, it was like, let's go. And it was a weird time in my life because it was like I changed so much so fast that I'm kind of grateful for the time because my mom and my dad both said nothing. Really? Like, they were really just like, okay, is she healthy? I played soccer. I was an avid soccer player. I danced. Like, I was active. Okay. And so they were like, well, okay, her cardiovascular health is obviously fine. Like, okay. And she's not sick all the time. So, okay. And they kind of just like gave it a second. And it's just, I look at how you get treated as a kid and how it just stays with you forever and ever. It changes how you don't even realize your decision makings are going. You know, it's like I have a friend, her name's Lucia Hawley, Hawley. She's one of my favorite people on the planet, but you have to be ready to take in her content because she's like, she will go deep with you and you'll be like, I was not ready. But she's all about breaking down diet culture. And there was things I didn't even realize I was doing. And I had a pretty easygoing situation of like losing weight as far as like my body kind of evened out. But like as an adult, like I hit like my 20s and I was taking diet pills. Oh. Right? Like, because that's what women are told. Like, this is the easy way to do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like you're taking diet pills. And I was drinking way too much water. And that sounds kind of funny because everybody glorifies drinking like lots of water.
Don't drink more than a gallon a day.
No, for real. Like, it's actually quite a bit less than that, believe it or not.
Yeah, I mean, but there's like the hardcore.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was always told, like, for me to drink half my body weight in ounces.
That is not true.
No. I would say, I mean,
believe it or not.
I will, because I don't have like medical stuff to go, but from the people that I have followed, anywhere from, depends on how active you are as well.
It also depends on the quality of the hydration you're getting. Because it's like if you drink too much water, you guys are going to get me on a tangent. I'm going to try to keep this succinct. Like, I learned so much about digestion over the last like 4 or 5 years, like trying to help my kids and then learning about myself and then my group of friends. So Lucia, that I was just telling you about, she's a nutritional therapy practitioner. My best friend's a nutritional therapy practitioner. Like, it's just the things that they have been learning in their education and what everybody should know. I'm like, this should be taught in school. Like, I don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
They don't teach a lot of stuff in school. They should.
Oh my gosh. Like, if you drink too much water while you're eating, like, you can drink it in between meals, but think how hard that is. Like, it's, you know, but if you drink too much water too close to a meal or too soon after a meal, you're actually watering down your gastric juices and you're not processing your food correctly, which creates gut inflammation, which creates like a whole cascade of blood sugar issues. And like, I mean, it's like a whole thing.
Gut health is a huge underserved and undercovered part of all of the and diet culture is not something I like to associate with. Just kind of like
Yeah.
healthy human culture.
Right. Yeah.
Gut health is something that we need to talk about a lot more because it's not that hard, but it does have substantial impacts in your ability to lose weight and to just feel better overall. Am I right? I mean, I'm
Which
sure
affects
that
your psychology around how you choose what to eat, what to do, when, you know, for instance, I've been on a weight loss journey, which feels like forever. I haven't even told you guys about this yet because it's kind of a long story. But when my daughter she's 8 now, when she was about 3 or 4, I was like, okay, it's time. Like, I was like, this is okay. And I started purposely trying to lose weight, and I lost quite a bit of weight by eating less carbs. Okay. Right. Now, there's a huge difference between men and women. Like, our hormones are completely different. How we respond to things
men
are
don't have
completely different. I was like,
I was going to say
Okay,
something, but
Craig.
I'm just not going to.
I was like, careful.
yeah.
But, and I love to dance. Like, when I go to the gym, I go to classes most of the time and I do weights. And my body literally was like, stop it.
Really?
Like, I had a gallbladder attack 4 years ago, and then I had one again last December. And it was like trying to understand what that was, because I tried all sorts of things during that time. There's influencers out there that I really admired the before and afters that they'd put out and was like, well, give it a try. Yeah, nothing happened. Really? Nothing. I'm talking low calorie, paleo.
Ooh,
like, we tried all the things, but it was like a stair step system down to like the lower calories, because for women, you can't just low calorie and expect your body goes into conserve mode and then you get fatter. It's great when that happens.
I bet.
You're like, that was the opposite effect of what I was going for. But
instead of losing 5 pounds, I gained 15.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. My husband stops drinking soda and he loses 5 pounds. I'm like, what? Like, I don't understand. Oh. So, but in that time, in the last like 4 or 5 years or so, I've just been on this real like mental game journey around diet culture and like trying to understand how my body works during that time. Like, you guys might have a different story because you guys can go restrictive or you can go more like structured, because that works for testosterone driven individuals. It just does. But it's like, I also wonder how much of it is also still like how your mental health is related to what you're doing with your dieting and your exercise, and is it working for your hormones, and are you sleeping enough? Are you drinking the right kind of content? And like, I don't know, there's like a whole thing to it, and it's so easy to be like, if I just move my body more, I'll lose weight. And that might be true to a certain extent, and you might lose a little bit, but that can also create the yo-yo. Because what if you get injured? You're talking about that shoulder injury. Like, injuries just jack up everything.
That's why I'm so careful in the gym, is because I do not want to risk being injured. Yeah. Mm-hmm. For you, Gary, when you were 300 pounds, you lost that weight somehow because you were obviously not 300 pounds now. And Jen obviously has far more thought into the way she's attacking this.
Unfortunately.
Well,
I would like to come at it a much more masculine way. That's how I wanted to do it, because it feels more task-oriented. Like, step 1, step 2, step 3.
And I would say that it's almost less task-oriented, and this is my opinion. I want to see what you guys think of it. We just say, okay, we're going to lose weight, and we stop eating X, Y, and Z, and we move more. Mm-hmm. That's how I did it. What about you? What has been the successful way that you have lost weight in the past?
Basically, like, it was really just about discipline. I mean, like I said earlier, like my childhood was eating pizzas and eating, fast food and stuff like that. And something else, like that I did as a child was McDonald's had the like 29-cent or like 39-cent like
burgers.
Cheeseburgers.
Yeah. It was 49-cent cheeseburgers, 39-cent.
Oh man,
that would get you.
We'd go there and buy like the max. It was like 20 or something like that, and we'd freeze them. We'd freeze them and then put them in the microwave, and they were horrible, but that's just what we did, right?
Put enough sauce on it.
Exactly. So I mean, for me, like I never gained weight, so then like my body just got used to just having bad food and stuff like that. So what I did before and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start eating more greens and start just eating more rice cakes. Yay. And but yeah, like, I'm not going to beat myself up like when I do mess up, because I am human, you know, like I am going to make mistakes and stuff like that. You know, like I am going to be making a delivery to a grocery store, and I'm not going to be able to say no sometimes, you know, and when that happens, I'm not going to like, you know, bash myself or anything, but just, yeah, like I'm just going to be eating better. I'm going to be moving more. Like my goal is to get at least 15,000 steps every day. And
what do you average now, do you think?
Probably about 11 to 12 per day. So I'm going to start running more, and each day that I work, I'm going to the gym. So after work, like it's on the way to my house.
So you're creating like a lifestyle change.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
like
is the way to do it. In my opinion.
Exactly. And just before, like what I was doing was I was saying, okay, I'm gonna do this, and like, so one day, you know, I'd say I'm gonna do biceps and back, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do triceps and traps or whatever, and I found myself not doing it, and then I would beat myself up because I wouldn't make it. So what I'm doing now is I'm just saying, okay, I'm going to wake up today, you know, I'm going to be thankful that I woke up. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to work my shift. And then after that, I'm going to go to the gym. And when I get to the gym, I'll just figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's, you know, mostly just about, you know, eating better, moving more, and just not beating yourself up like if you don't do it. You know?
And this will give us an opportunity, I think, as we kind of go through this journey together, because as we do this each week, we can check in. I mean, we could even make that a segment. We'll just do, you know, 5 minutes, how we doing on the weight loss check-in.
I like that.
Mike, you were shaking your head no. And so I want to hear what your difference is and what has worked for you in the past and what hasn't worked for you in the past. Because I think all of us have tried certain things and diet pills. Oh yeah. Those, I mean, when I was lifting hard when I was 22, I mean, it was, what was that shit called?
Xenadrin?
No, it was I don't know, but when you took 3 of them, you literally could run through a fucking wall. Because it was legalized methamphetamine, damn near, because it was ephedrine and all that shit.
Was it not ephedra?
Yeah, it was that, but I buy it at GNC.
Yeah.
And it was Hydroxycut.
Hydroxycut. I remember that one.
Oh yeah, see all of it like, yeah.
I did too.
That gave me prostate problems.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
How'd you know? You stuck your
I
finger
had,
up
to
there?
go, I had to go to the doctor.
Really?
And he's like, your prostate's really swollen.
Like I haven't pissed in
and
3
I'm like-
days.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's like I would go to the bathroom and then I would feel like I would have to still go.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Sounds
what the hell
painful.
is going on? So I was like, and my dad had prostate cancer, so I'm freaking out going, oh God, do I have it now? You know, and so anyway.
You're like, we're stopping this right now.
Yeah, pretty much. So once I cut that out, all that went away.
Really? So what is successful, not successful, and kind of what is your game plan for right now that, you know, I want us all to work together for all of us to, you know, see our goals through.
Well, for me, that's worked in the past. I've done pretty much anything under the sun. I've done Optavia, which is like, I forget what it's
Soy,
called. Yeah,
low
soy
carb.
based.
Don't do soy.
No, and I've done
Especially if you're a guy.
keto. I've done Weight Watchers. God, what else? Anything you can think of.
Jenny
pretty much.
Craig?
No.
Are
LA.
they still around?
Oh yeah.
Really?
They rebranded.
What's the?
Oh.
There was
Years
one
ago.
before LA Weight Loss or something like that.
Oh.
No, this is the LA weight loss thing, or
That's long gone. It's not around
Yeah.
anymore. Where you had to go weigh in and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I've done all those things. I had good success with the Optavia, but it's so calorie restrictive, and then you're buying these packaged foods from them.
it's
So
all
it's not
garbage food.
Yeah, it's not like you.
So
can-
soy,
Pretty
soy,
much.
soy, soy.
And I lost.
Salt,
I'd say I
salt,
lost
salt.
like 50 pounds on that, and so my weight has fluctuated probably from my early 20s after my divorce from my oldest daughter's mom. You know, during that time I was unhappy, so I would eat and, you know, just not work out or whatever. And so I packed it on then, and then kids and job changes and another divorce and just a lot of mental stuff going around on all of it. And so I'm like, okay, this last time I did keto, and I lost probably 40 pounds relatively quickly.
Yeah.
But the problem is, again, you're just eating proteins and things like that. And I didn't really train myself. I looked at kind of like the Atkins diet. I've done that before. paleo, Mediterranean, a lot of different things. And so keto was very protein driven, and I didn't do it the probably the best way. It was a lot of bacon, eggs, cheese, fat, avocados. It wasn't like broccoli. It wasn't greens. It wasn't adding a lot of the good stuff in. So kind of like in a grocery store, or when I fell off that wagon, basically we were camping we went to Sun River, took the kids for, I think it was like just like a week down there, and my cousins came down, and they brought it's called Zevia. It's a type of soda.
Yeah.
And it's actually it's pretty good. And
Zevia is pretty good.
But that kicked me onto a diet soda thing where I was drinking like Diet Fanta, Diet Dr. Pepper, and all that stuff made me gain weight. And so
because your body still processes it as a sugar.
Right. And so, that I fell off the wagon, and I think we had like ice cream sundaes or something like that as we were down there. I'm like, I have the willpower to just not do it anymore. And like, no.
That's not a willpower thing.
No.
That's a chemical reaction in your brain that is like ripping the world's biggest bandage off. And it's just a dam breaking, because I had a similar situation. I had one Oreo, and I gained 80 pounds after that.
Yeah, you just,
because
it's like you can't stop. It's like a snowball. You start that snowball down the hill, and it's just gonna roll and roll and roll and keep going.
It was for me. It was like
until you hit a wall, and you're like, I got to do something, because something's wrong with my heart. Something's wrong with my, start to have gallbladder problems. Gallplatters. Yeah.
Gallplatters.
Gallbladders.
No, that's painful. It's not fun.
And then, as we get older, I feel it in my knees. I feel it in my back. I have a work injury from working with Gary. Have a herniated disc. So the compression of my weight, pushes on my spine. And so I have leg issues and things like that. My girlfriend wants me to work out with her, and I really, really want to. The problem is the workouts that she does hurts my back.
What does she do?
She does kind of a beach body, high intensity, kind of insanity style workout. Not a lot of weight. It's more just body weight, and I get good workout, and I'm sore and stuff like that. But
if you got joint problems, that hurts.
And then the day later, I can barely walk because my back is all fucked up. Yeah.
Before I forget, I'm going to give you one tip on that had a drastic impact on me, and that is using krill oil as a supplement. It is a lubricant for your joints, and I don't usually buy into a lot of that stuff. I tried it, and within it's just a few days, I could notice a difference, because I have a herniated disc as well, and knees and all that shit from playing sports. Krill oil. And I just want to make sure that I mentioned it, because I will forget it, but it had a substantial impact for me as well. So just for what it's worth.
Yeah. It's, and then also along with all this is my mental's behind it going, okay, I've lost all this weight. Oh, I deserve to have this.
Yeah, that's a rough.
And then you go back and forth with that, and then that kicks you back down that path. And so I've had a love-hate relationship with food most of my life. I'd probably say most of my adult life. Yeah. When I was a teenager, I didn't have that issue because my metabolism's so much faster.
I didn't have the beauty of the teenage years where I could just eat anything. I would eat anything and I would gain weight. Wow. When I played football, I would lose it because I was very active, and I would lose usually 20 to 25 pounds. But I had such an unhealthy, because my buddies would do that shit. They'd go to Taco Bell and spend like $15. And in 1995, $15 at Taco Bell went a long
like a tank of
way.
gas.
Yeah, it was, and the pizzas and I never could. Oh. Yeah, it was bananas the amount of food they could put, and my family could do it, and I would eat like half, and I would gain twice as much. It was, my body just does not like that. But I'm allergic to wheat. I'm not celiac. I'm allergic to wheat.
That's my son. He's allergic to wheat.
It's funny you say that, because I was trying to figure out why I'm not losing weight. I'm doing all these different things, and like, is my thyroid off? So I had a blood test done. I had stuff like that. Saw a naturopath, and so she's like, "Have you ever done a food panel?" Yep. I'm like, "No. What does that entail?" Well, you prick your finger, draw blood on this paper, and you send it in. And they tell you what you're sensitive or allergic to. And it came back with a lot of stuff that I was like, really? So Soy was very high on my list.
Because it's got, or just soy, like soybeans.
So anything soy based.
Okay.
Soy is pretty common.
Whey, milk.
That's
So dairy
whey.
products, which a lot of people have that issue.
Yep. Gluten
or wheat. Or the really weird one was crooked yellowneck squash. And I'm like, what the, whatever.
Do you have any exposure to that?
I don't know. I don't like it anyway. But
You guys are like diving into the territory that I've been
like
into.
eggs. Eggs were on my list. But the funny thing is what I figured out is if I buy store-bought eggs, they feed the chickens soy scratch.
Yep.
But when I buy farm fresh eggs, I have no problem.
Pasture raised.
Right.
Oh, you guys are like diving into like.
Well, and this is going to be
Everything I've
something
been
that
in.
will be, like I said, it's got to be much more to expand on because
Yeah, like
gut
honestly,
health,
this is like 90% of my podcast was we talked about gut health, supplementation, food sensitivities. Like that blood panel will change day to day that you took. So it's
Really?
like you might have been like really allergic to wheat one day, but the next day not so much, because blood paneling can be very inconclusive and it's a snapshot of what's going on in your body right now, which
had
is
the
actually a
allergy
better
test
indication of your gut health.
Well, and when I was doing keto, I cut out all the gluten, all the wheat, and
So, of
I
course, you
lost a
lost weight.
lot of weight doing that.
Yeah.
But I cut out. There was a lot of dairy I don't really like, and I don't like milk, but I do love cheese. And so I still had the cheese in that aspect, but I kind of switched more towards goat cheese because I like
Oh
that
man,
too.
I got some good recipes for you.
But my biggest problem is once I'm starting to look at myself in the mirror and I'm losing weight and I see that I'm losing weight, it's almost something in my head that sabotages myself. So it's like, you don't deserve that, and so that's when I fall off that wagon and I go back down that path of just, destroying it.
Have you ever considered, this is going to be kind of an interesting thing to go down, have you considered having a different conversation with yourself of instead of, because looks will follow, they'll follow if you are eating foods that your body likes.
Well, it's almost like I got uncomfortable seeing myself as that person
Yeah.
in the mirror.
Okay, this actually brings up exactly what I wanted to talk about. Have you guys heard of the book called Atomic Habits?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's funny is
I have.
my girlfriend just gave me that to read, and I'm like,
No.
oh, okay, I'll read
Okay,
it.
I'm going to read you some like 3 top quotes from this that are...
So what you're saying is I need to read it.
Yes.
Get the audio
This is
book so
this
you
is now the
actually do it.
universe's
I'll do that
another
too.
ping.
Yeah.
So the whole highlight of the book is what's his name? James Clear. He writes this, and some of the highlights that people put in is decide the type of person you want to be, prove it to yourself with small wins. You've probably heard that a million times, but the thing that he teaches in this book is about changing your identity, and that changes everything, which is why I was like, maybe change your focus from looking a certain way to feeling a certain way. And feeling is so up here. And it's, of course, gut health too, because it's like if you feel crappy, like if your guts feel crappy, you're going to feel crappy.
Well, it's funny, like I had pizza last night. Not a whole pizza, Gary, not a whole pizza.
I was getting excited.
Just like-
He's like, you got any leftovers? What you got?
Just
I'm like,
like,
come on now. You got that
3 or
Supreme
4
one?
slices.
Yeah,
But after I had it, I felt nauseous.
Yeah?
I'm just like, man, I feel like
Oh
shit.
man, you and I need to talk. Like I got
That's why we
stuff
have
to
a
say.
podcast. So
I was
we
like,
can
we should
let
do another
everyone-
episode. But this other quote is the ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of your identity. It's one thing to say that I am the type of person who wants this. It's something very different to say I'm the type of person who is this. And that changes everything. Like, I know he's like, I want to talk.
Waving his Will's waving his hand in the
Yeah.
back.
Just call me Wade.
But like, Gary, you were talking about going to the gym, and you were talking about, I'm going to the gym every day after work. Like there was a point in time, this is actually when I started to realize that maybe that was more hormone related for me. I went to the gym 5 days a week. I lifted weights 4 days a week, and I did cardio on one of the days that I lifted weights for a year straight. Nothing happened.
Are you
And
kidding
I
me?
eat ridiculously clean, you guys. I'm gluten-free, dairy-free for the most part. Sometimes there's cheese in there, but goat cheese for the most part. We
Taste
just
good-free?
introduced A2 milk. We should talk about that.
What is it?
A2 milk.
Oh,
man, we-
Brute?
Oh, we got so much to talk about. So A1, A2, traditional milk is like half and half A1, A2, and it's just the type of protein that comes from certain cows. There are certain cows out there that only produce A2, and it's much easier on your digestion. Paxton was able to bring dairy back in, and he was blood positive, skin test positive. You're talking about that, and GI biopsy positive for dairy sensitivity, and we were able to add it back into his diet.
Wow.
We could talk about so much.
We need to break down the A2.
Yeah, but like we were talking about the habit, I told myself I was going to be that person that never missed my gym day. I am that person, and I never miss it. Never.
I am that person.
Yeah, and I was that person, and the only reason I got out of it was COVID.
Really?
And a little bit of part of me was just like, okay, something's not right. Like I didn't budge a pound.
Yeah.
But were you putting on? Were you exchanging?
My size
fat
didn't change,
for...
and my weight didn't change at all. But I was lifting heavier weights. Like I was changing my weights. It was an incredibly frustrating year. But it also caused me to look a little more deeper at like what was going on in my brain. Like it's so interesting how stress, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make this happen, and you're just trying to force it all the way through, can actually add a way more amount of stress to your body instead of taking the standpoint of like, I'm going to lose this much weight all the time and that's who I am as a person. Maybe take a standpoint of like, I'm a person that doesn't miss the gym, or I'm that person that tries new things every week in the gym, or, whatever it is. But it's amazing how our bodies, if we're stressed about it in any way or shape or form, it's like self-sabotage all over again, even if you don't realize it's happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's almost like if you can set your habit in a way that's more about how you feel, or maybe a goal that's about your experience. Like I'd like to experience like a CrossFit class, like, or I'd like to try a new workout once a month, or I don't know, like it's just maybe something more like that.
For me, I was like, I want to feel good enough that I can do like a Tough Mudder or a, one of those kind of races, or Spartan race or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know, when I start getting to that, I'm like, maybe I really don't want that.
I've said that many times about myself. I was like, maybe I'll try a triathlon.
So then I sabotage
it,
but I don't really say that. So I just do things to sabotage.
But you're also not setting a solid goal. You're kind of waffling on, oh, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Like if you set a date, hey, August 19th of 2022.
But do you want it?
I think for me, I have to have a consequence. So like if I don't hit that goal by a certain time, then it's almost like for real estate, and you're doing scripts and you're practicing with someone. If for some reason they don't show up for that, we have like a $50 check that we already have sitting out. They don't show up for that time. Well, I get to cash your check now because you didn't show up.
Really?
It's almost, it's that accountability.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. So last time we recorded, we talked about the motivations, the 4 tendencies. Do you remember which one you were? I'm an obliger. There's the questioner and a rebel and an upholder. I think you said you're an obliger.
Obliger.
Okay. Like, honestly, if you lean into the fact that you know that you're a obliger, like you were talking about the cash in the check, like maybe instead of punishing yourself, turn it into like you're going to show up for someone else, or you're going to, maybe you're paying for something.
Because on our text thread, I asked Will where you went to the gym, and I don't even know why I didn't remember, Abe and All Pride, because I used to go there. I'm just like, God, he gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Who does that?
Give him your gym shoes.
Yeah, right.
Give him your gym shoes. So you have to show up for him.
Didn't we just talk about that last time?
Yeah, for real. You guys should try it. Take it, because he's going to be pissy if you don't show up with his shoes.
Because I will work out without shoes.
And I won't.
Don't say that.
No, you have no idea. Because when you said about the identity thing, that is my identity.
Yeah, wait. Like headphones, maybe? What will annoy the shit out of you when you're at the gym?
Headphones would do it.
Okay, there you go. Take his
I
headphones.
will drive the fuck home.
Yeah.
If I
know
forget
that
my
feeling.
headphones.
That nothing makes me more mad. I'm like, when I show up to the gym.
It's a processing thing for me because the gym is a lot of where I handle my mental health stuff. But for me, it's a dynamic that you guys don't experience, which is I want to do more than what people with 2 hands want to do. I am driven to, because people stare at me and shit all the time because they're not used to seeing somebody with 1 hand, and I understand that. And every once in a while I'll catch a picture of somebody, because they'll just sit there and I'm like, okay, you don't have to stare that hard, man. It's really not that big a deal. And it's not like I'm doing fucking jumping jacks with no legs. But
that can be done.
Yeah, right. I want to be stronger than them. And now that I'm to that point where I am stronger than the majority of people, now I'm kind of synonymous with the gym at that time in the morning. I mean, I'm working the room, I'm talking to him, I know what this guy, I don't know his name, I haven't a clue, but I know he got a haircut and all. And so, you know, I talked about making connections several shows ago. All of that goes into my desire, but ultimately it is, I have to be in there. Otherwise, I am not right in the head.
Well, you've experienced it long enough now that it's
But
missing.
I enjoy it. I mean,
Yeah.
I love
See,
being
and
in the
I
gym.
wish I was addicted to working out. Like my girlfriend, she is like clockwork. 4:30 in the morning, she's up.
Oh,
5 o'clock, she's
4:30.
or you know between 4:30 and 5, she's
I was up at
doing her
3:30
morning
today.
thing and like her journaling and her meditation, and then 5 o'clock her workout starts, and then it's done at 5:30 or 6, and depending on how long it goes, and then she's in the shower and off to work or on with her day. And I'm rolling out of bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock going. She's like, I've already been up for 3.5 hours.
But we each of us. That's
But
part
I wish
of,
I was at that level.
But you can't wish what works for her upon yourself. And so, and I think that sets somebody up for failure. If you know at this age that 4:30 thing is not going to work for you, beating yourself into submission is a really tough.
Actually, it'll
place
make you
to
gain
be.
weight.
I mean, it can
Just
do
being stressed about
because
it.
you see
Well,
the
I don't get enough sleep because I cannot fall asleep. She falls asleep on the couch watching TV at like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Oh man, oh man.
Yeah, me
I
too.
understand this. Like, okay, there's so much about like physical health that leads into mental health, that leads into weight gain, weight loss. Like, it's all connected. It's like trying to find ways to like get to sleep, get enough sleep, can balance your hormones, can balance your cortisol levels, which can allow you to lose weight when you feel like it. But you said you're an Enneagram 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you take the Enneagram and you take the, you know, you're an obliger and you learn more about yourself. 9s have a really hard time gaining momentum. They get stuck.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like I'm analysis by paralysis.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that's-
and so take a
Or
little
paralysis
permission.
by analysis,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, like take a little permission to know that that makes sense for who you are as a person, and it makes complete sense that you can see where you want to go, but you're not quite sure how to start or to get there. But once you do start, and once you can create that identity around, because a lot of it is like what person do you want when somebody gets to know you that's new. Like, I mean, we don't really know each other super well,
No.
but
Yeah,
it's
I
we
like,
can't
just
believe it.
learned that we
And I
just
can't believe I'm
met each
talking to
other.
you about a lot of this shit.
I know.
but-
I was like, this is great. I love it. But if you want to meet somebody new, what do you want them to know you as? Like, what identity do you want to have
Not
around
the fat
it?
guy that's always fixing a shirt to hide his belly.
And you don't want that. So it's like, what do you want to be known for? But don't focus on the looks. Focus on the habits. The person like that climbs mountains, the person that runs triathlons or does triathlons, the person that does mudders every year, or the person, you know, that has medals hanging on their wall because they've done all these events and things.
I've
Like,
walked into houses that I've sold, and I'm just like, man, look at the Iron Man, look at the Tough Mudder, look at the
Yeah, but see, that kind
Spartan.
of stuff it's a whole different world than what you're talking about, in my opinion. I have a buddy that does that stuff, and
No, I know, and
It's-
so back in the day when I was going to All Pride, I was going there, working out all the time in the morning because I was actually trying to become a cop, and so I had to get in shape to pass the physical tests, and I got to where I did pass the tests because I got in shape, but I had that motivated me. I wanted nothing more to be.
because that was the identity you wanted.
I wanted to be a cop.
Yeah. So now
I'm glad I'm not, especially
now you're
with
on
today's
this
world. But
you're on this trip now to figure out what identity do you want now. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah, that's gonna take
okay,
some time.
but if you had to, let's ask each of us, what is the identity that you want to be known by? And the reason I ask now is we'll set a baseline and we'll come back to it. See
Start-
how
I don't
that
know. Start with
changes
somebody else.
as you
I know you might
are
have to
able
think about this
think
for a
about
sec.
it.
Yeah. I'll start. I know what I
Yep.
because I've had a long time to think about this. Like, this is actually what led me to the Enneagram. It's what led me to learning about the 4 tendencies, and like, because I was like, I don't know. Very similar. Where I was like, please don't ask me because I don't know. Like, you know. And it just so happened that my best friend has like super identity. Like, she's like knows exactly what she wants, and she's like going for it. And I was like, why don't I have that? Like, I was just like, can I please just know what I want? And as I got to know myself better, I realized that it's like, I do like the achievement, but what do I want to be known for? I want to be known for the person that is happy. I want to be known as the person that's like living my life to the fullest. And whatever that means, it's going to change season to season. Like, honestly, it's going to be like right now, what makes me happy is like having the time to be there for my kids and the things that they do. not missing out on stuff with them, creating memories that we can look back on. Like that stuff makes me really happy. And it's like, okay, if anything takes away from that, then that's not for me. What if it takes away from my happiness? Not for me. If it takes away from my time with my family, it's not for me right now, which has made it profoundly hard, you know, because it's all of those things are hard. But it's, instead of thinking about, maybe it's more of like thinking about what's your vibe? What vibe do you want people to feel when they're around you? You know?
I can go now.
Yes. No, I finish up what you were saying though, because I think
that's pretty much it. I was
okay.
like, I had to think about what kind of vibe I was bringing to a room, you know?
That's a really good way to tighten the whole thing up, is because we all kind of understand what vibe means. As when you walk in the room, if you came in through the door, what's the feeling people are going to get from you? Not from what you say, but from what you emit. What is it that it's coming out of you? Not snot or boogers or something, but, all jokes aside, because that's a thing. I mean, when I walk into somewhere that I don't know people, I own that motherfucker, because people look at me differently. They're going to judge me, and that's a handicapped guy. No, I'm not. And don't even come at me with that shit, or think of me like that.
That's not a vibe. That's physical. If people judge you on that, that's on them.
I understand that, but it is something, and I'm not saying it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I absolutely am not, but because it's a protection thing.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get over that. But let's hear what your vibe is.
So as you were saying that, Jen, I was thinking what makes me happy. So I love helping people. And that's one of the reasons I started this podcast and I get a lot off of doing this with you guys. But for example, you remember the big fire down in California, the Paradise Fire?
Yeah.
I spearheaded a thing with some other people that we collected 40,000 pounds worth of goods, clothes, food, supplies, and drove down and took it down there during the weekend before Thanksgiving and the weekend after, because we just had so much more stuff donated. But I got so much out of that. Like, I want to be known for that kind of stuff.
You want to be the guy that helps. Yeah. You want to be the guy that's there for people.
Which is my wing one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I was actually just looking up your so key motivations for a 9 are want to create harmony in their environment, to avoid conflicts and tension, to preserve things as they are, and to resist whatever would upset or disturb them. So if you think about that in regards to weight loss, that takes some thinking. Yeah. It's like, what creates harmony in weight loss for you? Have you ever had harmony in weight loss?
Nope.
No.
Right. I mean, I'm answering that for you, just going off the conversation, because you and I have had some pretty in-depth conversations about this stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, and a lot of where I get, like, my mentality has dropped from my weight, but also not just my weight and some other stuff, but I've just been like, I don't even want to live anymore.
Yeah.
It's been such a fucking challenge that it's like, that's been my identity, is the guy that's always trying to lose weight and can't. Or
so in a place of growth, 9s are self-developing and energetic. How does that feel when you think of those words? Self-developing and energetic.
That makes me think about, helping other people and stuff like that. Because when I do, I'm energized by it.
So think about it, and then the word harmony, balance, depending on how you want to look at it, self-developing, energetic when it comes to weight loss.
And what you're a 9 as well, so this all applies to you too, Gary.
Yeah,
that just seems like so far out of the reach,
Yeah, maybe it's worth taking like a curious place from it instead of I'm going to do this place from it, because I think sometimes when we go to a place of I'm going to do and accomplish, we think about what we see in other people instead of what we see in ourselves. Like, what would that mean to me? So like a self-developing and energetic workout, what would that be like? Like, what would a self-developing and energetic food relationship be like? What would that look like at your breakfast? What would that look like at your lunch? What would that look like for your snacks? Like, get really specific and start thinking about words and how they apply to you, your food, your movement. Because, I mean, there's many people out there that just walk a lot. They just walk a lot.
I was doing that. I think I'd mentioned it before.
Yeah.
In January and February of, I think this year, actually, I was walking 150 miles a month.
Yeah.
Until I got an injury.
Yeah, injuries just F it all up.
Totally just
I mean,
sidetracked.
maybe think about what other things could be, and instead of thinking like what is going to make me feel or look good, think about what's going to make you feel these things, self-developing and energetic and harmony and balance. You know, and that's going to be different for Gary. It's going to be for you because you guys have different experiences. You have different backgrounds. You have different, you know, preconceived notions about what those things mean. And I think that's what's nice about when you get to know yourself is that you can approach self-development and weight loss, because weight loss is a huge mental, like
it's a mind fuck.
Oh, absolutely.
And not a fun one.
Yeah. And it's like, if we're going to talk about men's mental health, then let's talk about like how it's so different for every person. There are some people out there that structure is what gets them to lose their weight. Some other people, and that might still be the case, but what does the structure look like for you? Maybe it looks more like creating small habits versus like running at it like a wrecking ball and then realizing that ball's not going anywhere. Cause like that sucks. That can cause like that cascade of like, I don't deserve this. I can't do it. I'm that dude. Like, and it can create that self, you know,
And it can
sabotaging
change
behavior.
your whole vibe.
Yeah, it can change your vibe,
what
yeah.
you're really emitting, and people pick up on that. People feel that. At least,
Well, it hits
least
your
I do.
confidence. So like you walk into a room and you own it. Like I'll walk in a room and I kind of back away from it, you know, because I'm just like, I don't want to be seen.
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Gary,
What do you think?
what's the vibe that you want to give off when you walk into a room?
So I mean, for me, like I just want to give off the vibe of like greatness, and like when I say that, like I'm talking about like, to me, great is like, you know, going in and like achieving things, but also like helping like other people as well. And like for me, like it's interesting just sitting here listening to Mike because we're so similar in so many different ways, and I just think like for me, like I get so much, you know, appreciation and love. Like I feel so much love when I'm helping other people, you know, whether we're talking about working out or we're talking about, you know, creating a resume or just, you know, talking about forming LLC or just anything. You know, for me, like I've always just been about that. And for me, like that's what I want for myself. And I just think that, you know, like I'm excited for us to take all this on together and, you know, we can kind of hold each other accountable. You know, we're a team. So, you know,
And we each, like I said earlier, are going to bring different mentalities into this because the journey that we have been down is not the journey that we're going to see because the people that fought those demons, we're trying to exorcise them. We're trying to get them out of us so that we have that healthy mentality moving forward, and accountability is a big part of it. I don't need it like Mike does or like you do, and because I have gotten to that place where it is my identity. And
Can I read about us? We're the twos, the key
absolutely.
motivations.
Well,
this
will
so
be
interesting.
our final before we wrap it
Because
up.
you just nailed it. It was like some of the key motivations on here. If you think about in terms of like changing habits, weight loss, food, our relationship, all those things, it says key motivations are to express their feelings for others, to be needed and appreciated, to get others to respond to them, but to vindicate their claims about themselves. So when you enter the gym and you create that identity for yourself, and you're also showing the world, like, told you. You're
Oh, there's a big told you.
right. Yeah.
You talk about petty. That's where my petty comes in.
I mean, and I've been through the same thing because it was I am that person, and I used to have this I used to write this phrase on the back of my hand because I love quotes. I'm just kind of a quotes person, and it was just I used to write "Watch me" because it's so wonderful to just be like, what now? Like, look what I did. Like,
that's what powers me because when I was a kid, I had to learn to do things differently than everyone else. Everyone else was taught to do it one way, and I just had to figure it out.
yeah.
But I played 9 sports, and in no way, shape, or form was I ever going to allow it to hold me back.
Yeah.
But that can work against me. And when I walk into a room with a fuck you attitude, that's not a good attitude to have. And I maybe that's a little bit of a harsh way to say it, but I want to set a tone that you're not going to look at me as a lesser person because I'm and there's some nasty people on the internet that call
sure.
people like me all kinds of different names, but So there's that mentality. And when I was the fat guy, and I mean, I've had my friends tell me, or people tell me, well, we wish you were fat again because you were funny. I'm like, no, that's really not what I want you to tell me, because that what you're saying is you want me to be unhealthy for your entertainment.
Boy,
I'm
that's
not
red flag.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not a seal here to be clapping for your entertainment and enjoy. We've really started a strong conversation here.
So it's so hard to stop.
It is hard to stop it, but we do have a hard stop because people need to live their lives. But I think it has given all of us an opportunity to think about things in a different way, because what you've talked about has opened my eyes. Because, I mean, it's a battle for me to, like, I'd like to lose maybe 10 pounds, maybe 15, whatever. It's not that important because
But that's the hardest stuff to lose.
Absolutely. Because
Like,
I've been down to like 175, but I didn't have the muscle that I have now and whatnot. But I'm pretty happy with who I am, and as long as I get to go to the gym, then I'll create that, or I'll keep that up. But I think especially for you two going into the holiday season, talking about gut health, having these things that maybe you haven't thought about, and think about having your testosterone checked, because you're at that age where it is literally going off a cliff. And maybe that's part of it as well, because if your testosterone's like sub 600, it's having an impact on your life.
which, by the way, there's hormone episodes on my podcast
Yeah.
where we talk about that specifically. Like, you guys can be not low testosterone, but you could be high progesterone or high estrogen purely from soy exposure.
I don't have boobs.
That's not. Yeah,
you wouldn't even notice, though.
No,
That's the thing.
not in
You
a
can
million
be
years.
you can be estrogen dominant based off the products you have in your house and the environment that you're in.
Weird.
It's a whole thing. That's the world I came from. That's the world I came from. Was like, oh, I'm estrogen dominant, but I eat clean. How does that happen? You know? And it's like, well, what does that mean? And there's
The
there's a whole
environment
thing to
has
it.
such a tremendous impact. I mean, the lotions, all of those things, that if you use that kind of stuff.
Just like deodorant with aluminum gives you, could be Alzheimer's
Yeah.
in the future.
Yep.
If
Toothpaste.
there's a
body
million
wash.
different things that, you know, we have been forced by the media and the industrial
And the
advertising
advertisers.
complex to believe that
It's not a
X,
big
Y,
deal.
and Z is not a big deal, or the FDA. I mean, I remember walking in, and this will be the exact last thing I say, I promise. But walking into the store saying, this food can't be that bad for us because they put it on the shelves for us. And I understand how naive and ridiculous that
So
was.
it's
And this has
probably the
been
worst.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like strapping a 10-pound bag to your right leg just for the shit of it. There's no reason for it. It just tastes good and it hits the dopamine.
Yeah.
Get that dopamine rush. That's what all of this is about, is dopamine.
Isn't sugar one molecule short of crack?
Well, it hits the same pleasure
It
centers
is.
in your...
However, there's a place for it. Like,
oh, absolutely.
like
You don't
there's
want to get
but
rid of it.
I think
Not
it
high
comes down
fructose,
to,
though.
yeah, high fructose is awful, like all those things. But I went on a really strict journey because it was like health reasons, right? For my kids, like both of them for different reasons. And I ended up doing it with them a lot of the way. And I'm at that place in my life in the last, 45 years. I want to lose weight, but I'm like, there's got to be a way to lose weight and still love food.
Mm-hmm.
There's,
Oh,
you know
check
what I mean?
my IG.
I
am
know,
all
right?
about food.
Right.
Love it.
But
Which I
as I
love.
started entering
Yeah,
that world, I
weird.
realized like, oh, that makes me feel like shit. Oh, that makes me feel like shit. Oh, why does that make me feel? I love this so much, and I try to find workarounds to it, and realizing that it's just there's so much that we've been lied to about with
Oh.
nutrition.
Yes.
Oh my word.
Well, we haven't
could be
been
a whole
taught
episode.
nutrition. We have been taught industrial advertising complex plans.
Dude,
It's not
inflammatory oils.
nutrition.
We did a whole episode on that.
Well, maybe we'll dig some of that kind of stuff up. But
If you're ready for it.
yeah,
It's a
well,
lot.
maybe we're not ready for it during the Christmas season.
Yeah.
With that, let's tidy things up. Gary, what do you got for us to wrap your portion of the show up?
Man, this is just so much like information. It was just so good.
Overload?
It was
We came at you.
so it was a lot. I'm learning
Come at me,
about
bro.
all different types of like nutrients and I'm shocked. I can't believe it. I'm just really excited just to get this going. Like I'm glad, we have this group to kind of bounce ideas off each other's head, and health as well. Like I'm ready to get this going,
Hell yeah, maybe we'll put together some kind of first of the year challenge for everyone with a prize.
I feel that momentum. Okay.
Yeah,
We should
yeah.
incorporate it so some listeners can get in on that
That's
too.
what
For me, I am going to use this show as a starting out. I know I'm not really supposed to focus on the weight side of it, more of the how I want to feel, but we do.
You can have weight goals.
Yeah, we do have.
But how you get there can be more how you feel.
So my ultimate goal is I want to get down to about 225, 230 range. Mm-hmm. I'm at 287 right now. So was that 62 pounds? Okay. Which is very doable. It's not 200 pounds like you lost, but so I'm going to basically eat a lot cleaner, but also look at it as 2 pound increment goals instead of 10, 20 pound goals.
And if you schedule your cheat, which is what I do, I get a bowl of ice cream on Friday night. I don't fucking miss it. I eat an entire pint of Haagen-Dazs mint chip ice cream.
Ooh,
and I walk that bitch off. Like, yeah, I eat this is my favorite. I love it.
This
and
is
I
mine.
But I don't do it any other time. Every once in a while I might Saturday, but that is Friday night I get that. Wow. So maybe think about scheduling that so that you have something to look forward to if that's what the type of thing that works for you. Jen, what do you have for us? Your parting wisdom, because you are our resident wise one.
Well, that's an interesting place to be. That was not the case long ago, where I was kind of felt a lot like Gary, where I felt like I was being fire hosed in information, and I was like, oh my gosh, what do I?
I can't even form sentences.
Yeah, it was a lot. Like, you have to go back through and kind of digest what was just said and think about it and go, okay, what does that mean for me and how am I going to use that? And I don't know. This was a really good conversation to remind me things that I do know and things that I've tried and realized, because I'm at this place where I'm ready to re-engage in some working out in the gym and spending more time on building some muscle, because COVID just completely interrupted that for me. I miss lifting weights. Like, I would like to get back in the gym and at least start focusing more on like lifting weights goals, because when I'm happy, when I'm fulfilled, and when I feel a good vibe and flow in my life, I lose weight
easily.
Yeah.
Like, it just
because
you don't focus on it all the time either, right?
Yeah, and I already eat
happens.
clean. Yeah. Like, I home cook most of my food. Like, I'm shopping at natural grocers for the most part. We already eat gluten free, and I mean, I'm surrounded by people that are foodies, but also like nutritionists type things. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I've been eating that way for a long time, and I thought the weight's just gonna come off. No, I was stressed. I was like massively stressed. So I'm like excited.
Cortisol is a nasty drug.
Oh, it's nasty. Hormone. Good sleep, man. I gotta tell you, like, the inflammation in my body, like, the weight didn't necessarily change, but people were like, wow, you look good. And I'm like, cool, because thanks. I mean, like, nothing's changed. My size hasn't changed. My weight hasn't changed. But, like, my face shape changes, and, like, little things change for me right now. And I'm kind of excited to dive back into being in the gym more. Feels right.
Yeah, I'm excited to get my CPAP machine, because I think that'll have a huge
that
effect
will change so much.
Sleep.
Game changer.
Yeah, for real. Both of my parents got on CPAP machines not too long ago. My dad lost 40 pounds.
Really?
In like 50 days. It was fast. Like, we were just
Come on,
like,
Norco.
Wow.
Send me my CPAP machine.
Yeah.
Mike is just gonna be like wearing it around the grocery store.
I'm gonna look
what are you
like
doing?
one of those Star Wars characters.
Yeah.
And his mental health was better.
Wow,
Oh, because sleep.
Yeah,
If
sleep
you
is
if you can
everything,
get
yeah.
7 to 8 hours sleep, I don't
Quality
require
sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a game changer. I can go with less sleep, but I would like
I feel
to get
it.
7.
I feel it when I don't.
I
Yeah.
never sleep 7 to 8 hours ever.
I'm averaging 4.5 hours or 4.5 hours a night.
Yeah,
Wow.
that sounds about
And if
right.
it's not quality, 4.5 hours. I
No,
mean, there
wake
are
up
some people
I wake
that
up
do
multiple
well.
times.
That
Ooh.
CPAP will. And have you been checked for
'Cause I can't
CPAP
breathe
or
right.
anything?
Oh,
You
I'm
should check
excited
that
for
out.
you.
Do you snore at all, or?
Are you kidding
I
me?
snore. I talk
He
in my
saws
sleep. I
logs.
sleepwalk.
Okay, well,
Check it
I've
out.
never, I've
Check it
never heard
out.
him sleep, but he looks like he saws logs.
Well,
I
like,
do.
He
I do
looks
for
like
sure.
he's
You're a lumberjack
For
when you
sure.
sleep.
For
The
sure.
beard?
I wear I have a mouth guard I wear that pushes my bottom teeth out, and it eliminated my snoring.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
that
worth checking
had an
out.
impact on. And I just bought it at Walgreens. You dip
Yeah.
it in water like your football one.
Uh-huh.
That being said, we've got to wrap this bad boy up. Thank you guys very much for another engaging, wonderful discussion that will, again, this is something that provides endless content because there's many different ways and paths that we can go down.
Yeah.
As always, check us out on the Instagram, the Facebook, all of the different ManVsMood channels that you can find us. Subscribe, like, rate, review, all of that. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening, and have a wonderful week. We gone.